మార్కులు కావాలి కదా నీకు. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, is my voice is clear to all of you guys? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, is my voice is clear to all of you? Guys, please check it. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Yeah, nice. All right. Good morning, guys. And just give clarity for me. How many of you are attending both the sessions like 7 to 8:30 and 8:30 to 10? Almost all of you. Nice. And how many of you registered for Advanced Java not attending Servlets and JSPs? Any of you are available here? Registered for Advanced Java but not attended for Servlets and JSPs at morning 7 o'clock. Okay, fine. Right, I'll talk it separately. So people are taking advantages from videos actually. At least courses startup days also you have to come. At least first 1 week of time. Then if you come at offline there, I can see how many members are coming there. Really, you are not aware about it. Almost all the registrations for this class, there's frameworks, advanced Java with frameworks and basic pack, complete Java package and all, almost all, nearly more than 250 members. Maybe 60 or 70 members are sitting now in front of me. At least first 10 days of time, basic classes is a course start of Spring Framework. If you come to the offline classes, no, then it will be good thing. Then for core Java evening, we made a call to the students, no? Then I got the responses what there. Completely we are depending on videos, or every day video is coming. So we are attending that through that videos, no? Maybe tomorrow or day of tomorrow, for this batch also, our admin people will call them why people are not attending there. No? Any other reasons, any exams or kind of things, no? Any exams are going on for academic students? If they're academic students, they will not attend this 8:30 to 10 classes. I'm sure about it. But still, see, then you are coming here for offline classes. But by thinking about your benefit, I'm giving that video support. But don't depend completely on that video support now. At least few days of time, up to first application development, come to the offline class. Those who are registered for offline class now. If you are in online, then no chances for you. Okay. Right, sir. Then my online people are giving suggestions now. Don't upload videos, sir, immediately. Right, sir. No, not like that. Then anyway, then once you are committed for the service, no, then max level we are trying to give that service there, but don't depending on it. Yeah, definitely we are going to upload the videos on time and everything going on. At least I want to see your faces now. How many of you registered for this course? Of course, whether you like to see my face or not is a second. I want to see your faces at least. All right, sir. Then why I'm talking about this? No, I think these statements are going to be recorded. When they see this video, maybe today or tomorrow, at least they'll realize no. So next 2 to 3 days of time, I will check it whether all members are coming or not. Otherwise, next 10 days of time, I will not upload videos. Not lately. I will not upload videos next 10 days of classes. Sure. Today and tomorrow, I'm giving time there. Those who registered for offline classes, at least first 10 days of time, you have to come for offline. Otherwise, next 10 days of time. Even after 10 days of time also, if you are not coming there, I will think about your admission. Okay. Right, sir. Now let's come for the point here. Okay, fine. Now see this, then what we completed there in the last session, what exactly the content here we discussed there in the last session. The topics are introduction classes only, just about to introduce the frameworks. What's the requirement of it? Then that part we started there. So we are going to understand effectively the content. Right, sir. Again, I'm telling to you before starting this course, in general, in outside, what content is getting very good demand in outside there, Spring Boot and microservices. That is very hot in outside market, hard cake. Even if you have Spring Boot microservices in your resume, then you'll be selected immediately. It's a matter of weeks of time, 1 or 2 weeks of time to get selected in a company. Damn sure. But again, I'm telling there, even I can start directly Spring Boot, but complete awareness you will not get. Because of that reason, I'm telling to you, even if anybody else in outside also saying that, why you're learning this entire Spring, better to go for Spring Boot microservices now. Don't fall with that particular statements now. So in a standard approach, I'm taking the classes to you. First, let me complete the total Spring. Then after that, I will go for what there Spring Boot and microservices. More clearly, I'm telling now, at the time of announcing these batches also, whether you recognize it or not, I did not announce the batch with the Spring Boot microservices. I announced the batch with what there Spring Boot microservices. So Spring is also a course. Then after that, Spring Boot. Next one is microservices now. So for your better understanding, for your completeness, for our complete clarity point of view, first we have to understand the total Spring framework. Of course, still some companies are using Spring framework before this Spring Boot. Without Spring Boot, only Spring framework is also be going on. But very good demand is going on for what there Spring Boot and microservices. I have to accept that. So because of that reason, first we have to understand complete Spring framework. Why? Because your status I know clearly. Just almost all we completed core Java. Next one is like what there advanced Java we completed JDBC. So let's we start it. Okay, that is your status now. Now with this knowledge, if I start directly Spring Boot microservices now, how can you understand the content here? Spring Boot is direct step. First application of the Spring Boot is nothing but Spring Web Module. The first application of Spring Boot is what there Spring Web Module. How can you understand it without having awareness on Spring Web Module? So because of that reason, let me complete this Spring framework. Then after that, I'm telling to you Spring Boot and microservices. Why I'm telling this information there? You may get some misguidance from outside. Then to go for it, to don't go for that. That misguidance from outside now. So for that purpose, I'm giving some alertness to you. If anybody else in outside they are saying to you, don't learn a Spring framework, directly learn a Spring Boot and microservices. No, don't go with that statements now. As I know the total process. See, for example, think a minute about it. Without Spring framework, if I start Spring Boot and microservices now, I may complete my batch a bit earlier mode or not. I may start new batch there, right? If I start new batch, more money will come or not. But still, I'm thinking about Spring in the sense, understand it now. It's not in that like what there in a different way. Completeness, we need to get the total base. We need to get clearly. This is permanent solution. Please recognize this. What I'm telling to you, it is a permanent solution. It's not like temporary solution. It's a permanent solution for everybody. Once you complete these frameworks here, in the next 10 to 15 years of time, you should not look back. You have to complete this total part. So because of that reason, I'm taking in a standard way, but try to attend the classes properly, try to understand the content. And one more thing I'm telling to you, maximum students are attending servlets and JSPs and what there, this is the frameworks concepts. Am I right or not? Maximum, majority of you are attending that. So your regular practice is very important. In core Java, you might be neglected the regular study. You okay up to core Java, it's okay, fine, it's worked out. Why? Because maybe after 1 week of time, even if you open the notebook, there we can see some content there we can understand at least some points here. But these concepts are not like that. Every concept is linked to concepts. Today, for example, if I discuss X now, tomorrow Y I'm going to discuss there. Definitely Y is depending on X. If you miss X, you will not understand Y. If you are not understanding X and Y, then there is no chance to understand Z. If you are not understanding Z now, better to stop these classes. That's enough. That's it. So because of that reason, regular study. Today, even the theory, blindly think of it. To prepare first Spring application, it may take minimum 10 days of time. Minimum 10 days of time it will take to start first Spring application. To type a program, a hello world program, if you want to show on my system there, 1 week to 10 days of time minimum it will take. So up to the time we have to understand theory only, complete theory. Why? Because we need to be get very much strong in the basics, foundation. After that we are going to see, without knowing what is the purpose of the framework, how can you understand Spring framework? No? Why frameworks are coming into the picture? That question I'm having there. We need to answer for this question. That's why then first I'm going to give the step by step each and every point. No, you must aware about all the points clearly. Right, sir. Anyway, then I'll go for the content here. Now try to understand it clearly. Right, sir. That's fine. Now let's come on to the content, guys. What I'm telling to you. Can you tell us different technology which are trending and we should learn to become a successful software engineer? Right. Nice question. Anyway, I think all of you might be aware about it. But as for my concern, I'm telling to you, at present, the market is totally with what there, Spring Boot microservices. And if that profile, the Java developer having Spring Boot microservices, RESTful services, these three trending in outside. But to understand these three, under Spring, entire content is required, enter Java is required. Along with these three, if you have DevOps in our resume, Java developer with Java DevOps background, Java developer background with DevOps. If you have that in your resume, definitely you'll be very good resource in outside at present. Because of that reason only, in the full stack we included what there DevOps. DevOps in the sense Linux, AWS, and DevOps tools. These three things. Then you'll be very good resource in outside. Recognize this. If you're asking that, then I'm giving response for it now. Right, now let's come for our content here, all of you know. Right, guys, now Spring introduction part I've given. Introduction in the sense like what I've given there, what exactly the content I'm going to be covered inside the Spring framework up to this point only here we discussed it there. Clear or not? That's okay, fine now. Then what are the various modules which are available there? First introduction is existed here. Introduction part here I discussed it there. Next one is the steps to prepare Spring application. After the steps to prepare Spring application, next one is the core module. For core module, what programming knowledge is required there? Core Java is sufficient. No need to get even JDBs also to understand this core module. This core module is mandatory even for what the Spring Boot. Mandatory. Next one is Spring DAO JDBC model. What is the prerequisite now? Core Java and JDBC. All right. So next one is Spring AOP model. Core Java is sufficient. Core Java is sufficient, and a little bit about what there. Some real-time tools like what there Log4j. This kind of things we required here. Okay, I'll discuss about it. No problem. Spring transactions. Core Java, JDBC. These things are required there. Next one is ORM. Hibernate is required. Web module. Struts and JSF is required. All right, sir. Struts and JSF is required. Next one is a Spring Web MVC module. Servlets and JSP, struts JSF. Basically, struts and JSP is not mandatory. Servlets and JSPs are required. Spring is security. Servlets and JSPs are required here now. Right, sir. Anyway, now these are the various things here we have to understand clearly in our Spring framework. After that, after completion of these concepts, there I will start with what there Spring Boot, then microservices now. All right, sir. Now let's move on to the content, guys. All of you observe carefully. First of all, I'm telling to you, by using Spring framework, we are going to prepare enterprise applications. Of course, so many applications here we are able to prepare by using Spring framework. Of course, standalone applications we can prepare, database related applications we can prepare. Not only that, web applications we are able to prepare, distributed applications here we are able to prepare. So all the types of applications here we are able to prepare, but Spring framework is mainly for what their enterprise applications. Spring framework is mainly for what their enterprise applications. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? Now here I'm asking one simple question to all of you. Now try to answer for it. What is an enterprise? First of all, what is an enterprise? After that we will think about an enterprise application. First tell me, what is an enterprise? What exactly the meaning of an enterprise? It's a normal terminology, general terminology only, general awareness only, not like any too much technology. Before going to talk about an enterprise application, what is an enterprise? Simple, as per my awareness, I'm giving there. Observe carefully. It is a group of, it's a group of organizations come under a single label. Come under a single label. It's a group of organizations that come under a single label. This is called as like what there? An enterprise. Simple example I'm telling there. And one more point. It is a group of organizations that come under a single label where business is going on. Where business is going on. Or else maybe instead of saying that a business going on, it is a business organization. It should be what there? A business organization. Don't say charitable trust is available. Don't say that is what there? An enterprise. Yes, sir. Are you getting my point or not? Okay, fine. What is an enterprise? It's a group of organizations that come under a single label. That's okay, straightforward point. Next one is, it's a business organization basically. It's a what there? Business organization, where business must be transferred. Business must be transformed. Business must be existed. I can take some examples now. Try to answer for it. For example, a roadside pachari shop is available. A roadside saloon shop is available. Can I say that saloon shop is an enterprise? There also be businesses going on. If you go there, maybe if you put some money, some services they're able to provide. There also be businesses going on. Money is transferred from one hand to another hand. Can I say it is an enterprise? No, leave it. That is low level, middle range. I am telling there. Durgasoft solutions. Can I say it's an enterprise? Can I say is that Durgasoft is an enterprise? No. Still no. I cannot say it is an enterprise. No. Here also the business is going on. I'm not saying Durgasoft is a charitable trust. I'm not giving any overarching kind of statements. No. We are giving services, very good. No. Very good services to the students. Genuine sir. No, it's not like that. Students are paying the money and Durgasoft is giving services. No, definitely. We are not allowing any other student without payment. Do you think about it? Durgasoft is a charitable trust? Never. Don't think like that. Definitely business is going on. But still it is not an enterprise. Still it is not an enterprise. Right, sir. Next one is like what there? What is that another one here? For example, Reliance Group of Industries, Tata companies, Tata, the name Tata, Reliance Group of organizations. Nowadays maybe Adani Group of organizations. We can say all these are like what they are? Enterprises. Yes, sir. All of you get my point on. We can say all these are like what they are? Enterprises. Yes, what is the difference? Can know. Example. Of course, the Reliance people are nowadays starting their own saloon shops. I think already in Mumbai they were available. In Hyderabad maybe they just started. Reliance people have started their saloon shops. That's okay. But because of that reason, I'm not saying that Reliance is what there is an enterprise now. But I'll give some points here. If we take a Tata group of organizations, what we have there now, what exactly the sub companies are available inside this Tata under the label Tata, what are the various branches are available, what are the various verticals are available, can you tell me? Right from salt to steel, right from salt to steel, so many domains are available for Tata. Example, Tata Salt, Tata Insurance, Tata Steel, then Tata Mobiles maybe, communication, Docomo or something else no previously. Then apart from that, what next one can know? Apart from this, no, TCS, best example, Tata Consultancy Services, Software Wing, TCS. Like this, so many, yeah, best example is like what the nowadays, Tata Motors is available. Do you know the Tata group of industries, they have taken over one very good cars brand. What is that cars brand there? Jaguar, right? Jaguar or any other one? Jaguar. Then the Tata people have captured that. Understand it? Okay, fine. Now, anyway, then like this, so many branches are available, but all these branches are running under a single label. So we can treat it is like what there as an enterprise. Leave this one. Reliance group of industries nowadays. What they're having there no Reliance group of industries, then what they're having there no, there also be number of things, number of sectors, especially they're mainly they are in what their oil supply, right? Gas supply. Reliance gas. That is one other one. Next one is what there apart from that, the Geo Marts nowadays. And communication Geo, right? Next one is what there, Reliance electronics. Am I right or not? Retail, right? Retail shops. Then apart from that, now they have taken steps in saloon shops also. Not only that, you are not aware about it, they are taking the steps in training institutes also. Really. But it was failure case for them previously, almost 5 to 6 years back, especially in Hyderabad. They want to capture that Chaitanya Educational Institutes and Narayana Educational Institutes. They want to take over them. But I don't know what happened there, but in the middle, that process was stopped. They want to be in a training part also. Understand it? So like this, number of things are available. They are under like what there, a single label. So we can say it is what there, an enterprise. So just this is a general as a awareness point on I'm telling there, not too much technical content here. What is an enterprise in the sense? These many things here we are able to get clearly. All right, so that's okay, fine. This is the meaning of like what there, an enterprise. All of you are getting clarity. What is the meaning of an enterprise? Can know? All right, sir. Now tell me, Durgasoft is an enterprise or not? No, not at all. Durgasoft is not an enterprise. Why? Because Durgasoft is not having any other domain. Durgasoft is in what there, a training and a little bit in development. That do previously. Now at present we are not maintaining any development center. Previously we have a development center at Madhapur. Now just we stopped it during this before this corona. Okay, now Durgasoft is purely on what there, training only. For example, if Durgasoft is in construction field, if Durgasoft is in food delivery, food field, understand my point? If Durgasoft is in like what there's some insurance domain, if Durgasoft has some real estate, if multiple domains are available for Durgasoft, then we can say Durgasoft is what there, an enterprise. Get my point or not? So Durgasoft is now, as of now, it is not like what there is an enterprise. Roadside saloon shop is also not an enterprise. Just it is a shop. Good. Then after that, what is an enterprise application? In general, I'm telling that the meaning no. Enterprise application. What is the meaning of it now? Right. So the name itself is giving suggestion for us. No. What is the meaning of an enterprise application? It is a software application. Enterprise is what there? It is a software application. It is a software application. Okay. It will simplify. It will simplify the business processing. It will simplify the business processing. It will simplify the business processing of an enterprise. It will simplify the business processing of an enterprise. All of you get my point on it. It is a software application. It will simplify the internal business processing of an enterprise, or internal or external, whatever it may be related to that enterprise. The total business processing have to be simplified. For that, if you prepare any application, then that application is called as what there? An enterprise application. Everybody understand this point clearly? Okay, fine. Next one is after that, how we are able to prepare this enterprise application. To prepare enterprise application as a developer, being the developer, what I have to do as a software engineer, what I have to do if I want to prepare any enterprise application. All right, understand this clearly. To prepare an enterprise application, we have to we have to provide the following layers. We have to provide the following layers. What are the layers here we have to provide there? Actually, let me show one diagram, guys. Now try to understand this diagram. To prepare an enterprise application, we have to provide a set of layers. What layers? Mainly. Then one more thing I'm telling to you, this is a high level representation. High level layers only. High level, topmost layers only I'm talking there. But if we open any topmost layer, where again sub layers are available, I'm not moving to the total sub layers immediately, but topmost layer. What are the various topmost layers are available to prepare an enterprise application there? The first one is like what there? User interface layer. User interface layer. Of course, in other words, we can call it as like what there? Presentation layer. We may call it as like what there? Presentation layer. User interface layer, or we can call it as what there? Presentation layer. Next one, after that, business layer. In other words, first of all, business processing layer, or we may call it as like what there? Business layer. Next one after that, data storage and access layer, or in other words, persistence layer. In other words, we can say it is what there? Persistence layer. Overall, these are the three layers which are available to prepare our enterprise applications. User interface layer or presentation layer, business processing layer or business layer, data storage and access layer or persistence layer. Right, sir. Let's understand this clearly. Yeah, maybe people are asking to me, sir, can you give an example of for an enterprise application? No, whatever the examples I said to you. For example, Reliance Group of Industries, they're having their own softwares. The software is nothing. Say, for example, a simple example, no need to think much about it. If you go for Reliance Fresh or maybe somewhere else, some supermarket, if you go there, what we are doing now, just we have taken some items there where billing is going on or not. How that billing is going on there? Through software or directly you want to give like go for like what there? Then paper receipts now. What we are able to get there? Then through software only we are paying the bill or not? It's also be the part of like what there? An enterprise application. Not only that, say for example, I want to book a Tata car, Tata Harrier, for example. Now maybe in a Tata also be so many cars are available, very good cars are available, right? I want to book a car. How we are doing that? Of course, we'll go to the Tata showroom. There we are going to select some car, maybe something else. But where your details and everything must be entered in that software or not? Customer details and everything will be entered in that software or not? That's also be what they're part of the enterprise application. Not only that, if you go for TCS, for example, TCS is an organization where internal softwares are working or not, internal softwares are running or not. For the sake of tracking our employees there, they definitely they require some internal software. It's also be the part of like what there, like an enterprise application there. Get my point or not? Like this, in every domain we can get like what there's some software. Nowadays everything is through softwares only. With respect to Tata, whatever the softwares they are using there, they are nothing but like what they're like an enterprise application. Of course, in a single enterprise a single application may be available or maybe multiple applications are available. Say for example, Tata Motors is available. It has its own application. Tata Insurance is available. It has its own application. The domain has its own application. Am I right or not? But altogether we can say an enterprise application, or individually each and every one is treated as what there? An enterprise application. Finally, applications are prepared for what there? An enterprise. There's a simple example here I'm telling to you, right? Of course, might be Flipkart and e-commerce applications there. Amazon or Flipkart, so many applications are available, not only this. Right, now let's come for the points here now. Next one is after that, user interface layer or presentation layer or business processing layer or business layer or data storage layer or what next one here no persistence layer. These are the various layers which are available in an enterprise application. If we want to prepare an enterprise application, what layers here we have to provide, in the sense these are the various layers here we have to provide. That's okay, fine. Now first let's understand, the first one is like what there, user interface layer, user interface layer or presentation layer. Right, sir. What exactly the purpose of this user interface layer? What is the need of it? Why we need to go for this user interface layer? That part here we have to understand. Let's say this one, the very first point here I'm telling to you, all of you observe carefully. What is the purpose of this user interface layer? The very first one is what there? It will provide starting point to the users in order to interact with the application. Understand this point here? It will provide a starting point to the users in order to interact with the application. What is the meaning of it? No, say for example, simple example, flipkart.com. Just on the browser, what we are going to type there, www.flipkart.com. Then what we are getting, sir? Home page of the flipkart.com here we are getting or not? That means that what is the meaning of it? No, that is user interface or not? Where indexes are available or not? All items are listed or not? All categories are listed or not? That is nothing but what there, a look and feel. That is nothing but what there, an user interface. That is the first point for the user to interact with our application or not? Leave it. www.gmail.com. What we are getting, sir? Immediately login page you are getting or not? That login page is nothing but what there, user interface or not? Observe carefully. So definitely it will provide what there, starting point for the user or entry point for the user to interact with our what there, an application. So that's why that user interface is mandatory. Answer my point here. Is it possible to check our authentication without having login page? No. Without having username, password fields, text fields, and labels, without having that, is it possible to check my authentication? Not possible. Definitely we require that user interface or not. So that is the reason why it will provide a starting point for the users in order to interact with the application. That's point number one. Next, another one. It will improve look and feel. It will improve what there, look and feel to the enterprise applications. It will provide look and feel to the enterprise application. Now, what is the meaning of it here? For example, guys, observe carefully. I want to book a car. I may go for some showroom there. In that showroom, some registration form is available. Online booking I want to do, for example. A registration phase here we are getting. In that registration phase, then what is available? Maybe some details here we entered. Customer details are entered. Along with that, booking date we have to provide. Booking date we have to provide or not? Okay, booking date is what there, some date here we have to specify. Clear or not? How we are going to specify the date? No, in the text field you want to write like what there, today date, like what there, 30-01-2023. In that way you want to write. Not providing good look and feel. Of course, text field providing date is not required. Along with the text field, maybe some icon is available. If you click on that icon, automatically calendar will open or not? In that calendar, we are going to select a particular date or not? Now tell me which one will provide very good look and feel. Providing your date in a text field or providing selecting date in the calendar. Calendar is giving very good appearance or not? This is the meaning of look and feel. That will be provided by what there, user interface. Presentation. Okay. Not only that. See, think a minute about it. If login page is not available, how can we provide our data to the Gmail application? No? Username, text field, password field, where dots are displayed. If you provide a password, answer my point, Kenno. Then how it is possible to provide our details to the application without this registration pages and login pages? No. Got my point or not? So definitely that user interface is providing look and feel to the enterprise applications or not. That is another advantage here we have to understand clearly. Okay, look and feel is the main intention here. Next one is after that, after completion of this, it is acting as an user interface between users and server side applications. It is acting as an user interface between users and server side applications in order to get data from users. That means in order to transfer data from users to the server side application and from server side applications to the users. Am I right or not? Please check this statement here, what I've given. This is very, very important statement. It is acting as an user interface between users and server side applications in order to transfer data from users to the server side applications and from server side applications to the users. Simple example. For example, what I want to do there, I'll go for some examples like what now. As a simple, Durgasoft.com is available, for example. Not even Durgasoft.com there. For example, I want to go for Facebook.com. I want to provide. Where immediately what we are getting there, Facebook login page here we are getting. If you are new to the Facebook, sign up process is available. Click on the sign up. Where registration page is open or not. In that registration page, I have to enter the data. When I enter the data, when I click on submit button, automatically user interface is sending the data what I entered to the server side application or not. Means that user interface is collecting data from user. The data is transferred to what the server side application. Server side application has done some process there. Then after completion of that process, server side application will send some data to the user through the user interface. Now user interface is collecting data from server side application and the data is displaying to the user. User can see the data, can get the data. So what is the meaning of it now? User interface is acting as a mediator or middle one between users and server side application in order to carry the data from user to server side application and from server side application to user. Answer my point here. So that is nothing but like what they like as a user interface care now. That's okay, fine. Right, guys. Now I'm asking one more question. Now try to answer for it. I want to create, guys, all of you observe carefully. I want to create an application. In that application care, what I want to there, I want to take some user registration. User details I want to take through registration form. Observe carefully. In the user registration form, there are some fields. What fields are available? Date of birth field is available. Date of birth field. Okay. Right, sir. Date of birth field. For example, date of birth field is available. There, unfortunately, I provided the date of birth value is like what there. Say, for example, 45 hyphen 11 hyphen. Say, for example, 2025. Is it a valid date for date of birth? Tell me, guys, is it possible? First of all, what is this 45? We thought of it is a day. What is the day maximum value? No, 30 or 31st. That depends on that calendar, right? Depends on the month. What is this 11 here? No, month. It's okay. 11 is okay, valid. Like here we have 1 to 12. But date of birth in the sense, what's the meaning of it now? It must be a fast date or not? The date of birth, that year should be what their past year or not? But here what we provided there, future year we provided. How much it is valid there? No, not at all possible here. That's why if we provide data like this, then internally what our program has to do, internally what our application has to do, come on guys, our application has to take the data, it has to check whether this data is valid or not, then it has to, if it is invalid, then it has to display some error message or not. Date of birth value must be a past date, it should not be a future date. Like this we need to get some message or not. So before using this data in our application, in our business logic, first we have to check whether this data is valid or invalid. First we have to check whether this data is valid or invalid. Am I right or not? Right, so the process of checking whether the data is valid or invalid is called as data validations. The process of checking whether the data is valid or invalid is called as data validations. Answer my point now. Right, sir. There are two types of data validations. How many types of data validations are available? Two types of data validations are available. What are the two types of data validations now? Client side data validations and server side data validations. Right, sir. First one is what there? Client side data validations. Second one is what there? Server side data validations. What is the meaning of this client side data validations and what is the meaning of server side data validations now? Very simple. Try to understand this. Server side data validation is nothing but, observe carefully, we have a form. We have a form. In that form, we provided the data. Some fields are available where I provided the data. When I click on submit button there, request will go to the server side application. Along with that request, our data will be submitted to the server side application. At server side application, our data will be stored in the form of a bean object. As per the application development, our request data will be stored in the form of what there? A bean object, for example. After storing the data in a Java bean object, we will get the data, we will use the data in our business logic. At server side application, business logic is available or not? There we are going to use the data what we submitted from client aligned with request. But before using our data in the business logic, at the server side application, if we are checking whether this data is a valid data or invalid data, before using the data in a business logic, if we are checking whether the data is a valid data or invalid data, the checking process is called as data validations. The checking process is called as what there? Data validations. Data validations at which mission? No, server mission. Data validation at which mission? No, server mission. That's why this type of data validation is called as like what there? Server side data validations. This type of data validation is called as like what there? Server side data validations. Got my point or not? To prepare these server side data validations, we have tried Java code, purely Java code, not any other technology. Server side data validations are performed by using Java, purely Java code. Understand it clearly now? Okay, fine. This is completed. Next one. Another one is like what there? Client side data validations. Another one is what there? Client side data validations. What is the meaning of this client side data validations actually? Observe carefully, all of you know. Simple point. First of all, I got a form from the server side application. That form is open in a browser. Form is available in the browser. Username or maybe user like address details or maybe some other details. Everything I provided. Date of birth values and everything we provided inside like what there? A form. At bottom we are having a submit button. At bottom we are having what there? Submit button. Say for example, I enter the data. I enter the data. After entering the data, when I click on submit button, as per the concept, what is going to be happen there? Along request will be submitted to the server machine. Along with request, our data will be submitted to the server machine. Am I right or not? But here the point is what? Understand it now. When I click on this button, after clicking on this button, Before submitting request to the server, in the middle, after clicking on the button, before submitting the data to the server, in between these two, our user interface will take our data and it will check whether the data is valid or not at a browser only. Before submitting data to the server at a browser, our data will be checked whether it is valid or invalid. Tell me, at which location that the data validation is going on, at a browser or at server side now? Browser only. Browser in the sense client emission only. At a client side only, the data is going to be checked whether it is valid or invalid. This type of data validations, is called as what? Their client side data validations. That's it. Now tell me, all of you guys, what is this? What is the difference between server side data validations and client side data validations? What you are thinking about it now? Answer is very clear. If you perform data checking process at server side with Java code, that is called as what? Their server side data validations. But if you are checking whether the data is valid or not at a client browser after submitting data and before sending the data to the server side, if you check whether the data is valid or not, this type of data validity checking is called as like what? Their client side data validations. Now tell me, to implement server side data validations, what code is required here? Java code is required. Am I right or not? What code is required there? Java code is required. But to implement client side data validations, here we required JavaScript kind of technologies. What we require there now? JavaScript kind of technologies. Might be some of you complete already JavaScript. Am I right? No response, guys. Completed already. In the full stack Java, already we completed UI technologies where JavaScript you completed. In JavaScript, functions topic is available or not? JavaScript functions are exist or not? User defined functions are possible or not possible? Possible here. We can call that user defined functions either by clicking on button or by selecting some data in the checkboxes. No, like this we are able to access that user defined functions or not? No response, guys. On click attribute or maybe on submit attribute, then we're along with that we have to call that functions, JavaScript functions there. Yeah, by using the JavaScript functions, we are able to implement client side data validations. Answer my point here now. Client side data validations, if we want to perform, there we have to use JavaScript functions. We have to use that. By the execution of the JavaScript functions only, client side data validations here we are able to provide. Of course, right from HTML 5.x version onwards, inbuilt data validations are available along with the fields. Of course, in the text field, if you specify mandatory option there for any text field, no, mandatory is equal to true something else, no, automatically the data is mandatory in the text field. Without providing the data, if you submit the form there, then immediately it is providing like what there, data is mandatory in this field, please enter the data. Right from HTML5 version, I think so, right from HTML5 version onwards, data validations are inbuilt inside the HTML tags now. Yes, sir, all of you are getting fine, whatever it may be, whether it is an inbuilt concept or user defined JavaScript functions, whatever it may be, that validations are performed at client side or not. So they are called as like what their client side data validations. Fine, now tell me, to implement client side data validations, we have to use JavaScript functions or not? Definitely we have to use what their JavaScript functions. Okay, but here my question is JavaScript functions we are able to use, that's okay, but we have to define the JavaScript functions now. If you want to execute JavaScript functions now, first we have to define JavaScript functions or not? If you want to execute JavaScript functions now, first we have to define them or not? Where we are going to define the JavaScript functions? Where we are going to define the JavaScript functions? Right, we are going to define the JavaScript functions in the form of HTML pages only. In HTML page only, header part and body part, two parts are available. Inside the header part, we will define the JavaScript function. Inside the body part, we can call the JavaScript functions. Inside the header part, we are going to define what the JavaScript function. In the body part, we are going to access the JavaScript functions. Got my point or not? Now tell me, all of you now tell me here, that HTML file or JSP file, whatever it may be, is a part of the user interface or not? That HTML file is a part of the user interface or not? For example, if user interface is not available, there is no HTML file, there is no JavaScript function. How can we perform client-side data validations? No. How can we perform client-side data validations? No. Is it possible? No, not possible. So because of that reason, what's the conclusion here we are providing there? User interface is providing very good environment to implement data validation logic or to perform data validations. Get my point or not? So here the point is like what there? What's the point I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. To perform client-side data validations, to perform client-side data validations, to perform client-side data validations with JavaScript functions, we require what their user interface. Right, sir. Understand my point here. User interface, it will provide a starting point to the users in order to interact with the application. It will improve the look and feel of the enterprise applications. It is acting as an user interface between users and server-side application in order to transfer data from users to the server-side applications and from Java and from server-side applications to the users. Next one is to perform client-side data validations with the JavaScript functions. That means it will provide adequate environment to perform client-side data validations with JavaScript functions. That is another point here we have to understand. Right, sir. All of you observe carefully. The next one here after completion of this. Listen carefully. I think in your user interface, have you understand the form tag? User forms topic is available in user interface in HTML, not more than that. Inside the HTML form tag is available to gather all the input components as a single place, to group all the input components in a single place in order to submit their data to the server as a single data. There's some form tag we are going to use. Am I right or not? Can you tell me inside the form tag what attributes are available? What attributes are available inside the form tag? Any idea? Say for example, action attribute is available to represent a particular server-side resource in order to perform server-side action. Next one is there is an attribute like method. Method attribute. Have you remembered that? Method attribute. To that method attribute, we are able to specify different types of request types, HTTP methods. Different types of HTTP methods we are able to specify. That means different types of requests. I have a form. From this form, I want to send GET request for getting the data. I want to send a POST request for posting the data. I want to send some like what there head request for getting headers of the response. I want to send some options request. I want to get which options are supported by my server-side application. I want to send something else like put request to the server to perform some updations in the database or maybe updations in the server side now. Got my point or not? Different types of requests are available. HTTP requests are available. Different types of requests. Get to post to head put options. They may be delete. So, all of you are getting it or not? Okay. Now the point is what I'm telling here. I'm asking to you. Try to understand this clearly. Login pages are using which request type? No. Okay. Before that, I'm giving one more point. Get and post. If we compare there, get is not providing security, whereas post is providing security. Security point of view, which request type is very good? No, post request type is very good. Now tell me, from the login page, what request type here we have to specify? Is that get request or post request? Post request. In the login pages, we are going to specify what request there? Post request. One more point. If we specify the get request now, the data which we entered in our form, the data will be sent to the server as a plain text data. The data will be sent as what there? Plain text data. But if we use a post request now, the data what we provide in the form, the data will be sent to the server-side application by encrypting the data. Post data will be encrypted while transferring in the network, but the get data will not be encrypted. The data will be transferred as a plain text data. Now tell me, security is more with what? Post request or get request now? post request get. Now I want to send post request from my form. Login pages are using post request types only. I want to download a resource from my server side. Get request I'm going to use. I want to update my resources at server side now. Then put request we can use. Sir, got my point or not? So if you want to specify these many request types now, where we are going to specify these request types now? At the time of preparing the form, we have to specify some request type or not? That means in form tag, we have to specify method is equal to get, the method is equal to post, method is equal to options like this, we have to specify or not? That means in user interface only we are specifying this data or not? Come on guys, in user interface only we are providing this data or not? So here the point is like what there, it is a point, here the point is like what there, it will provide very good environment, it will provide very good environment to specify different types of requests, like what there, get, then what next one you know, post, next one is like what there, options, next one is like what there, put, next one is like what there, head, next one is like what there, delete, and so on and so on and so on. To specify these many request types now, here we have to provide like what there, here it will provide very good environment to specify different types of requests like what there, get, post, options, put, head, and what next one there, delete. It's clear, all of you know? So this is another requirement to go for like what there, user interface. Guys, I'm asking one question to all of you know, try to answer for this. What is the question here? Everybody now tell me here, what is the question here we have to understand? What is the requirement? First of all, tell me, to prepare an enterprise application, what layers here we have to provide now? 3 layers here we have to provide. What are the 3 layers here we have to provide there? User interface layer. Next one is what there? Business layer. Next one is what there? Persistence layer, data storage and access layer. They are the 3 layers here we have to provide. Tell me, what is the purpose of this user interface layer? What is the requirement of this user interface layer? First one is what there? It is a starting point for every user to interact with our server-side application. Second one is what there? It improves look and feel to the enterprise application. Third one is what there? It is a carrier, data carrier between user and server-side program. It transfers the data from users to server-side application and from server-side application to user care. Next one is what there? It provides very good environment to perform client-side data validations with JavaScript functions. Next one is what there? It provides very good environment to specify different types of requests like a get, post, options, put, head, delete, and so on. Yes, sir. Got my point or not? Then after that, after completion of this particular point here, another thing is like what there? Observe carefully. To prepare this layer, to prepare this user interface layer or presentation layer, we are going to use a separate logic. We are going to use what there? A separate logic. That logic is called as presentation logic. We are going to use a separate logic. That logic is what there? Presentation logic. To prepare user interface layer, we will use a separate logic called presentation logic. Next one is to prepare presentation logic, we will use a set of technologies like right, sir, we'll use a separate set of technologies like what there? HTML, CSS, of course, supporting technology for HTML. Next one is what there? Then apart from that, right, sir, HTML, CSS, of course, JavaScript for the sake of this validations or event handling. For the sake of that, next one is offer this Bootstrap as a framework for CSS. Then apart from that, then what next one here? Like, sir, then AWT, am I right or not? Swing, Java related. AWT and Swing, they are for geo applications only. Right, sir. Then apart from this, JSPs, web technologies, if we have to this, not servlets. Servlets, purely at servlets, no. Server side only, but JSPs is also for what their presentation layer. For providing, for presenting the data, we are going to use what their JSPs mainly, and so on and so on and so on. So many things are going to be used clearly. That's enough. This is what exactly the meaning of like what their presentation layer, what we are having there, or user interface layer. Right, sir. Next one is what there. Second one is what there. Business processing layer or business layer. Business processing layer or business layer. Right, sir. Business processing layer, and next one is what there. Business layer. We can use the thing here now. Right, sir. Then shall we discuss this topic on tomorrow? Right, sir. Then tomorrow I want to go for this, and tomorrow we'll complete the remaining two layers here. Then after that, tomorrow we are going to start like what there. Types of enterprise applications I have to talk there, but types of enterprise applications already we discussed in the servlets and JSPs now. Difference between web applications and distributed applications, almost 5 or 6 differences I'm given there. Just one time I'm able to read the statements, by that I'm able to complete the topic. Why? Because here also we have to discuss about what are their types of enterprise applications clearly. Yes, sir, got it or not? After that, after completion of this, web application models, web application model architectures are available, that we are going to understand. Model 1 architecture, model 2 architecture. There I'm going to introduce MVC architecture. After completion of this MVC architecture, we are going to talk about like what is the requirement to go for frameworks. That point is very, very important. Frameworks introduction there I will provide there. After understanding the frameworks introduction, next, how many types of frameworks are available? Right, sir. How many types of frameworks are available? Then what after this? What are the various examples for the frameworks? Where Struts, JSF, and Spring? So many things are available. Then why Spring is so special when compared with Struts and JSF? What differences are available? Why Spring is very good when compared with others? There I'm going to give some reasons. After that, after understanding that Spring, next one is we are going to talk about what their Spring history. How many versions are available and which year the very first version is coming. What is the intention of writing the Spring framework? That introduction we are going to see. After completion of that is Spring versions. That means how many versions are available at each and every version, how modules are available. After completion of this, next one is like what there, overview of each and every module inside the Spring framework. Overview of each and every module. After understanding the overview of Spring, each and every module, then we are going to start steps to prepare first Spring application. What components we require to prepare first Spring application? In the first application, we are able to get very much clarity. Why we are discussing all these concepts? No, there in first application we are going to see. Observe carefully. In that first application, I'm going to include some files, so different files I'm going to prepare. Then their explanation part I have to give. Then afterwards, we are going to start with what their programming part can. Once if we complete that the first application development with all the steps, no, then I will start core module inside the Spring framework. Core module we are going to start. There we are going to see the remaining content one by one we are going to see. Max, understand this? Right from today, this is Saturday and Sunday, including that we are going to have sessions. Don't neglect this. In JDBs, I think so 1 or 2 small topics are remaining here. Then I'll take some time, then I'll cover the topics. Don't worry. But meanwhile, this next Saturday and Sunday also, we are going to have sessions. That I will give that appropriate schedule, that exact time I will provide to you. Maybe on what there, tomorrow or day of tomorrow, I will give that announcement. But every Saturday and Sunday, at least 3 hours for servlets and 3 hours for Spring framework I want to take on weekends. I'll give the schedule information there. If it is not possible on Saturday to take long session, definitely I'll think about like what there on Sundays. So max no holiday scheme we are going to plan until the completion of the Spring framework. Then after that we'll think about what there Spring of board. As early as possible, I'm going to complete Spring framework. Don't worry for it. Right, sir? That's okay, fine now. Okay, right, sir. That's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Right, sir. And 7 p.m. class is what? What's the 7 p.m. class, guys? Complete it. Okay, okay, right. Link is not prepared. Permanent link is not prepared. It is a demo link only. We can use that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Huh? Hmm. ఏం చేస్తున్నావు దాన్ని? ఇది ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ ప్రాబ్లం ఇది. ఏ వర్షన్ ఇది? 12 కదా? ఇంక ఇంత మించి మనం ఏం చేయగలం దీనిలో? ఇంక దీని మించి మనం ఏం చేస్తాం దీనిలో? అదే ఇంటర్నల్ తంతుంది అది. ల్యాప్టాప్ రావట్లేదు. చూడాలి అసలు ఏం ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటనేది ఇంకా క్లియర్గా. అంటే మేబీ మనకి తెలిసినంత వరకు కూడా సెటప్స్ ఏమి ఉండవు దీనిలో మ్యాక్సిమం. మనమే సపరేట్గా సెట్ చేసేది ఏమి ఉండదు పాతలో కానీ కానీ పోర్ట్ నెంబర్స్. ఇప్పుడు అది జనరల్గా టిఎన్ఎస్ లిజనరా అదేదో ఉందో కదా దానికి. ఇది ఎందుకు పెట్టినావు మళ్ళీ? జేడీకి ఇచ్చావు కదా, అది జేడీకేలోని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసావు కదా, జేడీకే 1.8లో ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ కూడా జరిగింది. సార్ రీస్టార్ట్ చేసి చూడు, రీస్టార్ట్ చేసి రీస్టార్ట్ చేసి స్టార్ట్ చేయవు సార్, చూద్దాం. చూడు ఇప్పుడు చూడు, చూద్దాం. Yadav, nothing you scripted, guys. Then one class I complete, just overview I've given there. All right, okay. I registered for only frameworks. Could you please Setugran Yadav, just please contact with the admin people there. They'll be available at yeah, then I'll give some email ID to you, then we can contact with them. Like www.durgasoft online training @gmail.com. Either we can go for it, otherwise might be 888-252627 or maybe 9246212143. Yeah, this is 9246212143. These numbers here we can contact there. So our people will be in touch with you, then they'll provide information to you, right? All right, guys. That's all, guys. Then tomorrow I'll continue the content. Thank you. Thanks a lot.